It is common sense to take a method and try it. If it fails, admit it, frankly, and try another. But above all, try something.
I grew up hearing that. Your parents grew up hearing that. It's just, too bad Quoddy wasn't built. That's always the pie in the sky type thing. Gee, that only had been built.
Because the water still flows. It's been flowing for centuries and still, as you see out there, flowing today.
They came from everywhere. It was a job. That was during the Depression.
Look out in the bay, I'm going like, see that out there? And I'm pointing out and they're going like, I don't see anything. I said, see the Quoddy Dam? That's how much chance you got. It's like, it ain't there, is it? So.
Hi, I'm Bob Lewis. I'm with Ocean Renewable Power Company, ORPC for short. I'm the Director of Operations and the Chief Safety Officer. I've been working with ORPC since 2007 through its prototype and beta projects and its first grid-connected project. I'm based here in Eastport, Maine, where we have an operations center for the company, and appreciate the opportunity to give you some information about the original 1930s proposal to tap the tidal energy of the region here, as opposed to the 21st century version of tapping that energy of moving water.
In 1920, Dexter P. Cooper had an idea to harness tidal energy in Passamaquoddy Bay in the Eastport, Maine area. Soon later, he proposed this idea to his neighbor on Campobello Island. His neighbor was Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Coopers were next door to the Roosevelts in the neighborhood, and Franklin Roosevelt, Assistant Secretary of the Navy, growing up summer in here, and would love the water. I used to take that, sailing and things like that. And so for him, and understanding how energy could be used to stimulate the economy, development, I think it was a natural. So the concept was that the tide would come in, it would be captured behind locks and dams, and then as the tide ebbed, when there was a 5.5 foot differential between the water that was captured behind the dams and the outgoing tide, the water would then be released through generating plants, much like dams on rivers still operate today. This project was going to be funded through public monies. They had got through Congress a proposal to fund this. It was a $30 million project. I think that's somewhere around 100. I was going to look up what inflation is, but I know it's over 100 million now. And they allotted the first tranche of money, $10 million, to get the project underway in 1934, I believe. So in July 4th in 1934, the project began with the first $10 million allotment. And of the first 10 million, if my numbers are correct from my memory, 7 of it went to build Quoddy Village. Here, depth of the depressions, people thought the world was going to end, and here comes this little village out in Quoddy Village. Had its own school, hospital, and they had all these houses. There were about 128 houses that were destined to handle 1,000 people at one time. So they figured they were going to have 5,000 workers. And that's why people came in from far away to work here, much like they did out at the Hoover Dam. They traveled halfway across the country at times because that's where the jobs were. And steady jobs were far and few between.
I recall a lot of the kids. They were good. They're all from everywhere. I recall one girl from Louisiana. I mean, they came from everywhere. It was a job. That was during the Depression.
Originally, this was going to be an international project, collaboration with Canada and the United States. The Canadians withdrew from the project early on, and it became a sole American project. Two power companies had been located in Maine, and they weighed in and had some input about what the feasibility of this was going to be. It was suspended after 1 year, year and a half, but it was still engineered. The Army Corps still kept engineering it, and the last documents I saw for engineered documents was 1958. When Kennedy came into the presidency in 1960, early in his administration, the economics were revisited here, and the last economic feasibility study was done in 1962. It was deemed to be just a few cents per kilowatt hour unfeasible.
On Andrew's side, Jake.
All right, just like we thought, all right? He's going to hit first. Tell him to go ahead and guide it over. Coming down.
Roger, Andrew, go ahead and guide it over.
Roger that. Coming down.
Coming down.
Take Andrew out of the water.
Roger that. Coming up on you, Andrew.
Roger that. Down on TV. All stop.
All stop, Roger.
Nothing set.
My name is John Furland. I'm President and Chief Operating Officer of ORPC. So the company dates to 2004, was actually founded in Florida by Chris Sauer, who is our Chief Executive Officer, and two other gentlemen, Captain Paul Wells and John Cooper. They brought the company to Maine in 2006. The Eastport area of Maine is considered the best tidal energy development site in the United States, according to the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. There was a great opportunity to work with that resource, but also partner with the community, which has always been very favorably enthusiastic about this type of development in their community. We were the first company of any ocean energy type, offshore wind, tidal wave, whatever, to connect to a regional utility grid in all of the Americas. It was a real feat, and it was a way of ascertaining, is this technology really viable, and is there a commercial opportunity eventually? We're generating electricity from moving water without using a dam or an impoundment. So we have power systems that are underwater, connected to the ocean bottom, and involve a turbine device that is sitting up within the water column. Our shape and key feature is a horizontal shape. We resemble more of a paddle wheel than like a windmill underwater or a giant fan underwater. And we went with that design on the advice of the US Navy, actually, because they felt that generating the impacts along one shaft horizontally would make a more durable device. To see this installed for the first time, That was a powerful experience to be part of. You know, there was a lot of excitement around it, obviously, because of the truly innovative feature of not just the technology, but the fact that, you know, nobody had ever done this in all of the Americas. But we had a very tight window for installation. We were coming out of the winter season into early spring. The weather isn't always working in your favor. Contractors can't always work every day. It took a few days on the water for the contractor team to fully gather what needed to be done and how to do this effectively. We were installing at slack tide. Slack tide lasts about 40 minutes. And I had so much admiration for the general contractor and the crew because it was this very precise movement of, at that time, you know, large pieces of equipment and 24 or more people in concert in order to hit that 40-minute window. And, you know, part of our lessons learned out of all that is that we've moved to a much simpler way of installation and retrieval. That's part of what has enabled us to pursue the remote marketplace that we're pursuing, because everything that we design is designed to be installed using locally available labor, locally available equipment. And our most successful experience with that has been in Igiugig, Alaska, on a small scale. We've made the adjustments in Eastport, and as we've been in and out of the water since that 2012 period with continuing our product development cycle, we've moved away from, you know, large vessels and high capacity cranes and reduced the number of personnel you needed to do the job. So that was another key learning that came out of that first installation. There's a real desire among investors around companies producing products to, you know, let's create an economy where you're really solving problems. You know, you're really addressing a situation where the benefits are so good, but it actually changes life. You know, it's that disruptive innovation that new technology has the potential to do, and we feel that's what we're doing. We're solving a true problem that exists globally. The cost of high electricity and environmental risk in regions of the world that have the biggest problem, and can begin to measurably see how our technology helps in a positive way. By reducing the logistics of diesel handling, by the greenhouse gas reductions, and by putting into play another way for the local economy to work.
Have you heard about the new plan with ORPC and their project here?
Oh, yes.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a good try, and I hope it succeeds.